Now let's talk about PERT and CPM. PERT is Program Evaluation Review Technique and CPM is Critical Path Method. They both are network techniques. So we'll look at what that means in a little bit. More than 50-60 years ago, two different teams were working on a similar kind of project management tools. And there was one group, which was an industry group, DuPont, and they worked on the project they had to manage, and they came up with this technique called critical path method. And for them, the task times were pretty deterministic, and therefore they focused on trying to decrease the time needed to complete the project. That technique was called CPM, critical path method. The other was a government contract after World War II, and this project involved a lot of activities that were not well understood. Many of them were being done for the very first time, so the time estimates were quite fluid, not accurate enough for us to be able to control how long it will take and when it will be completed and so on. So they developed more of a probabilistic approach, trying to figure out what is the probability of completing the project at a particular within a particular due date and so on. They called the project management technique they were developing as PERT. Now, so PERT and CPM, they both have commonalities up to a point of developing the project itself, the project planning itself. But after that, how you use the project plan that you've developed, that's where the difference is. CPM looks at trying to crash the project completion time by spending more money, whereas PERT looks at the same project from a different perspective, and that is what is the probability of completing the project within a certain time duration. So first we're going to look at the commonalities, and then we will do a CPM analysis, and then we will do a PERT analysis for the project. Okay. The 6 steps of PERT and CPM, some of these we already went over: the planning, the management and control. So first is planning, define the project, prepare the work breakdown structure, develop the relationships among the activities, because some activities must be completed first before other activities can begin. So these are called precedence relationships. And then once the precedence relationships are set, then you represent those precedence relationships in a network by drawing a network, and we'll look at an example of that. And then we assign time and cost estimates for each activity. Then the 5th step is to figure out the longest path time. The longest time in the network is the critical path. That tells us how long the project will take to complete. So then the step 6 is use the network to schedule and monitor the project. Now, computing the longest path gives us the project completion time. So the questions PERT and CPM can answer: when will the entire project be completed? What are the critical activities or tasks in the project? These are the activities that when delayed, it will delay the project. An activity is said to be critical if any delay in the activity will cause a delay in the project. So we'll be able to identify those critical activities. And what are the activities that are not critical? The activities that are not critical have slack or cushion. So if there is a small delay, it's not going to affect the project completion time. We'll look at what is that the maximum delay allowed, permissible for non-critical activities, and still not delay the project. We'll look at that later. Then what is the probability of the project being completed on a specific date? And this question, the 4th question, is specific to PERT. CPM doesn't deal with probabilities. Is the project on schedule and behind schedule, ahead of schedule? Is it within budget, on budget, or over budget? Are there enough resources available for the project to be completed on time? And then the 8th question is whether we can finish the project in an earlier time if we can provide additional funds. Of course, 8 is only for CPM and not for PERT.